Welcome to Stateside with me, the Gabby Cabby on SRB Radio. Joining me today is my favourite female artist of all time, Lina. But before we get into the conversation, let's talk about how we connected. And that was down to my association, well, our association with Spectra. I had a box of records, and when I come to Your Love by Lina, I was absolutely hooked. So, how are you, mate? And welcome to my show. Talk to me about Your Love.
I am well. Thank you for having me. Well, Your Love is a song that I wrote from a real-life experience. And it's a song talking about how a relationship that was once in place was so awesome that the way the other person treated the one person is still memory, and it's a standard. And then they go into a new relationship, and they still have the memory of that true love compared to this new situation that's not so good. So it's basically just about surviving because of the way I was once loved. So now I know what real love is compared to this new situation that's not. So it's like the love is haunting, and it's still there. And I performed that song last night too. Had I known, I would have went live.
Your love was so sweet, but now that you're gone from me, is it supposed to be still hanging around? I felt you kiss me in a dream. Ask myself, what does this mean? Ooh, when could it come true? I still can hear those words you said, playing like a record inside my head. Yes, they do. Your love was so sweet, but now that you're gone from me, is it supposed to be still hanging around? I made a bad mistake when I let you get away, but somehow you're here to stay, strange as it sounds. Your love is haunting me. I can't break free, like you're still here with me. Your love is haunting me. I can't break free, you're still around. I try to lose myself in his arms, even though he loves me wrong. Damn, what did I do? And I even felt you hold my hand on a night when my heart bled. He was so cruel. Your love was so sweet, but now that you're gone from me, is it supposed to be still hanging around? I made a bad mistake when I let you get away. Somehow you're here to stay, strange
It's an absolutely wonderful tune. I love it. That was my introduction to you as an artist. And then I went on to SoundCloud. I started researching, and I heard some of the most beautiful, wonderful songs I've ever heard. And there was a couple of tracks on your SoundCloud account that's off that epic album, The Love Chronicles of a Lady Songbird. So let's start about the album, and then we'll go on to your latest project, Love Ride, and then we're going to dip into your back catalogue.
The Love Chronicles of a Lady Songbird is an album that is called a tribute to soul. There was a time when I moved to Texas, and which is where I'm from. I'm from Texas, but I relocated to California years ago. So I went back home, and there was a period to where I was listening to a lot of Motown and a lot of soul music. So I got influenced by, the Stevie Wonders, the Diana Rosses, the Berry Gordy whole empire. And I realized there wasn't enough music on the radio that paid homage to Motown and soul and the 60s and 70s music. So I did the album just to pay homage to the music that I respected so much.
It's an absolute piece of work, a wonderful piece of art. Is it still available on hard copy? Or is it available Amazon, iTunes? How can people hook up and get and buy this album? Because I must admit, from the tracks that I've heard, I Won't Go Down, I think that's just a melting. It melts me. Every time I hear that, I Won't Go Down, it melts me.
I don't know who it was that said follow your heart. Sometimes you gotta listen to your intuition. This song is not about me. This song is about a man. Let things stay the way they are. You and your false reality, and me and my new start. I can never give what you want from me, 'cause what you're going through ain't about me. There's some heartache in your past. It's unfortunate, but I never stood a chance. You're a broken man, don't know how to love. Holding on too long, not into love. Another day. Can't do it, baby. And I won't let you hurt me again. Tell your family and friends what you want about me. I'm no longer concerned, I need to be free. I've been doing time, but you call it love. But there's no hope if there's no truth. And those issues of your past, there was nothing I could do, it was over my head. You're a troubled man who won't receive my love, but giving you my best when you get to love. I won't go down that day, and I won't let. Can't do it, baby. You hurt me again. No, no. I won't go down. I won't go down. I'm turning around, and I won't let. Oh, I won't let you hurt me again. To love you. Now, ladies, if you've been giving yourself to the wrong kind of man, you've been doing things you just don't understand. I wasn't myself, and it cost me my life. And I refuse to do the same thing twice. The purpose of a man, is to keep you secure when you're in his hand. He should build you up, never tear you down. I learned the hard way, but it's over now. No, I won't go down that day. And I won't you hurt me again. I won't go down. All I wanted was to love you. But you won't receive my love. I won't go down. Now I don't know if it was the absent father, the cheating ex-girlfriend, or something other. But I had to come to terms with one thing. This was going on way before me. You had me thinking I was crazy there for a minute. And you know what? Change the way I walk, change the way I dressed, change the way I thought. Baby, I was a mess. See, I was losing myself trying to save you. But there ain't nothing I can do that's gonna please you. You know you're the reason for this song. It's crazy, but you know you were so wrong. I won't go down. No. All I wanted was to love you. You won't receive my love. You hurt me, baby. You hurt me again. You hurt me. Besides, that would make me an enabler.
Wow, I get a lot of people that call me about number four. They don't know the name, but it's called the album. It's ironic that you bring that album up because I plan to re-release the album in May.
Okay.
So it's not available right now because I recorded it independently and was going to release it independently on my Mood Star label, but I did a joint venture with another record company, and we released a single but not the album. So I am going to re-release it in May. I got a call from a DJ who told me that it's on the internet for $1,000 because it's unavailable. And so he was like, "Can you send me that record? I don't want to pay $1,000." I was like, "Wow."
So
but yes, I plan to re-release it in May.
When you re-release it in May, will it be available then in the UK as well as in the United States?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, but it'll be a digital release.
Right, okay, right, I'm with you. Another track on there, Come To Me, I think that's an absolutely blinding track as well.
Thank you. I love that song too. I did it with a guy, his name is Victor Flowers. He was my bass player when I was on tour, when I was signed to Atlantic Records. He is now relocated to Germany. So it's awesome that we had our experiences in Europe, and some of us, we love to go back, and some of us even relocated. It was such a great experience. We found that during that time, it's a little better in the States now, but during the time when we were touring, the European market had a demand for solid music. They weren't really fond of the watered down, music. So we believe that music is a messenger, and in the power that it has to alter lives. So we take responsibility when we're creating the music and writing the lyrics, and we found that our experience in Europe and other parts of the country, people were more appreciative of solid music, soul music.
Now you say that was on your Mood Star record label, which is your label. Where did you get it produced? Who engineered the album?
It's awesome that you bring that up because Augie Johnson, the late Augie Johnson, he passed away, but he's a great musician in the States. He was responsible for discovering an artist by the name of Nikki Howard. She's a soul singer, beautiful soul singer, and she just recently did a documentary on her life that was on television lately, BET. And he brought his band of these guys who were in their 50s and 60s and 70s, and they came in and they played this music live. It was amazing. It was awesome. These people have been out on the road with all of the great musicians back in the day. So it was just great to finally work with him. His name is Augie Johnson. He has a Facebook page. He passed away a couple of years ago, but he was a mentor to me, and I respected him because he lived that music, and he was around in the 60s and 70s. So when he approved the music that I was doing, it made me very, very proud.
Mind you, that's not the first time you've had approvals by megastars. I mean, Stevie Wonder once approved one of your tracks as well, didn't he, from one of your earlier releases on an album?
Yes, Skip Miller, who was the late Skip Miller, who was around in the Motown days. He was a very good friend with Suzanne DePass, and they were developing the Jacksons together. He introduced me to Stevie Wonder, and one day, this is before I knew he had talked about me to Stevie. Stevie Wonder owns a radio station here in California called KJLH, and I was doing quite a few ventures with them, a lot of shows, and they were supportive of my music, and they played it, and the station is owned by Stevie Wonder. But one day I was in a park, I remember so vividly, and I just got a call out of nowhere, and this man on the other end was going, "I love your song, Smooth." Smooth is a song from an album that I released on Hidden Beach, and it's called The Inner Beauty Movement. But he called me and told me how much he loved this song, and I didn't know who I was talking to. And I said, "Please tell me your name," and he started singing. That's when I knew it was Stevie Wonder.
Love remains. See, I've been struggling with this a long time, day after day. The fact that I love you, but sometimes I just wanna be through with you. Baby, you're the sun that chases all the rain away. And baby, you're the gray clouds that darken a perfect day when I wouldn't do to make this thing go smooth. What I wouldn't do to make this thing go smooth. Baby, baby, when I look in your eyes, I see that you're afraid to give your heart completely. I know that you love me, but sometimes I just can't get through to you. You say that I'm the one who puts a smile on your face, but I know I can be the one to take it all away. What I would do to make this thing go smooth. What I would do to make this thing go smooth. Could it be we missed the love songs the radio don't play, that makes us give up so easy and throw it all away? Nobody talks about love anymore. Everybody's too busy getting paid. Ooh. Baby, you're the sun that chases all the rain away. And baby, you're the gray cloud that darkens a perfect day. What I would do to make
basically, what made you write that song, Smooth?
Yeah.
What, he just made up something on the spot. But he was telling me how much he loved it, and he just really wanted to know how I got inspired to write that one particular song.
And what was your inspiration to write that particular song?
Just growing up in the house with a lot of aunts who were kind of close to my age but older than me, and them playing all this music and teaching me to dance, and me watching them have fun on Saturdays while they cleaned the house and everything. And I wanted to do music that I thought that they would appreciate and respect. And I also wanted to do content that I had seen them go through. There's about 5 of them.
Was that
5 girls in my grandmother's house, and me, this little baby, hanging out with these teenagers.
Was that back in Denver, Colorado, or did you move to Texas then?
This was in Texas. Actually, I remember coming from Denver to Texas and meeting one of my aunts for the first time in front of the house. And I didn't even get to go inside the house. She took me right away to her friend's house, and she was my grandmother's youngest daughter. I was too young to hang out with her, but she took me with her everywhere. But this was after Denver. It was when we moved to Texas.
Now, you started in gospel, in the gospel church, aged 4 when you first got up and started singing. That must have been one hell of an experience for a 4-year-old little girl.
Yeah, it was when, I guess, my grandmother was in a choir and my grandfather was in the same choir. My grandmother's sisters played piano and were in the same choir. My mother would come as a solo artist to church and sing. So I started out singing in the choir with my grandparents and aunts. And I was a kid. I remember going all over Texas to churches as a 4-year-old, leading this one particular song, and the background singers were adult. I think I remember in choir rehearsal just going along with my grandmother, but knowing the lyrics to the songs. And she got up one day and she told my aunt, well, she knows all the lyrics to this song. So they tried me on it, and that was it. After rehearsal, I used to tour with them, and then when my mom would do her solo tours, I would go and sing a solo song, and then my mother would come after me and sing a song. So it was second nature. I didn't realize what I was doing, and being in front of these big audiences, I just didn't think about it.
And what age was you when you started to play the piano, Lina?
There was always a piano in my grandmother's house.
Yeah.
She would wake us up to piano playing. That's the way she would get everybody up. And so as long as I can remember, I was sitting at that piano. And I just recently discovered, she's passed away now for 2 years now, but I recently discovered that she told my father that she got the piano in the house just for me to learn to play piano. But I don't have a memory of not having a piano in the house.
So you've literally always been around music all your life. At what stage did you decide that you wanted to cut a career out of music and started writing your own material?
I started writing at 8 years old. I knew then that I had melody and natural inclination to write verses and then hooks, but seriously is when I started to sing in choirs at school, and this is when I started singing 17th century and Baroque and classical music, and started doing competitions. So after high school, I wrote songs in high school, but after high school in college is when I got serious about lyric and song content and writing these stories to add music to as a form of expression.
And 1998 seemed to be the year that we were dancing around in France to the World Cup with the England football team, and your career started to blossom and take off. And then 3 years later, in 2001, your first album was born, Stranger on Earth.
Yes. I was writing for Tyrese and then Mariah Carey. She had a label called Crave. She had artists. I was writing for these artists. There's several artists, a lot of music that didn't come out, which stayed in my catalog and which became the music that I used for film and television. That was my introduction to song placement. But I was working with a producer and just demoing the songs that I wrote for him. but it eventually ended up being a catalog. And I got a manager by the name of Joaquin Caffey who started playing this new music that I had started to produce from just being in college and listening to Sarah Vaughan, Billie Holiday, and, you know, people like that. I started doing music that was a blend of hip-hop and swing and Benny Goodman Band and just all these great jazz people. And he heard this music and he was like, this is really unique. There's a bit of opera music in it and jazz and hip-hop, big band and swing. And he played this music for a few record label executives, and a few of them came to the table with a deal offer. So there was a bidding war, and it was crazy. It was exciting. And I decided to go with Atlantic Records, and they immediately put me out on tour, and I started in Europe. So that's the best part of my career, starting in Europe, because I was in Texas, had no idea I would ever go to Europe, went all over, 3 separate tours for about at least a month each, and then built my European fan base. And then when we came back to the States to release, there was 9/11 that happened a week before my release date. So I went on to sign with another label a couple of years when things in the music business kind of calmed down, or in the whole world, as a matter of fact. That changed everything in the world.
Yeah, it was a very black day for humanity, as much as anything. 2005 was your release of your second album, The Inner Beauty Movement, which we've alluded to earlier. Smooth, that track that Stevie Wonder absolutely adored. Steppers Anthem, talk me through that.
Yes, what happened with this one is I had a really great friendship with Craig Kalman at Atlantic Records, and we knew that things were different with 9/11 happening and everything. And so I asked him, to release me. And he's a musician. He's an artist, so he understood that. And then I went on to record another record with producer G. DeCornier and Travis, the same producers that produced the Stranger on Earth album. And we did the Inner Beauty Movement. And my manager, the same guy, Joaquin, walked me into Hidden Beach, and I met Steve McKeever, and it was love at first sight. We were on the same page, and with a family unit, smaller situation, I decided to try an indie label, because the big machine, there's a lot of red tape.
Yeah.
You have to go through, there's so many artists. So I decided to try a smaller label, and this was my deal with Hidden Beach, and where Smooth was released. No, I'm here.
No, fine, that's okay.
I'm here.
We have got a delay. We can squeeze it all up and just edit slightly and drop the odd track in there to just polish it up. 4 songs were considered for Grammys as well. That must have been one hell of a deal for you.
This was when I was signed to Hidden Beach, and Skip Miller was my manager, and I remember him coming to me and telling me they have created categories for your music. I don't think they have that category anymore. But yeah, there were 4 songs. I think it was Smooth, Come to Mama, and I'm not positive, but I think it was Hope, Wish and Pray.
And then your next album, Morning Star, in 2008. Where was that done, on what label? Who produced, engineered your third album?
I say, we had a great relationship, so I used Jeeve and Travis, the same producers from the first 2 albums.
Uh-huh.
I released it on my independent label, Mood Star.
Yep.
Because I had learned to do joint ventures. So with Hidden Beach, I did a joint venture, and then my third release was independent on my own. It was great. It was a lot of fun. I did my own tours and everything in the state, and we pressed up our own album cover, and it was pretty cool. I learned a lot from being signed to Atlantic Records in Hidden Beach.
Yeah.
So I decided to do it on my own.
For any artists that are starting out now on a journey, they've got a bunch of records and a couple of albums. What would you advise a small independent record label, doing it yourself, DIY, or trying to get attached to a major label? What would your advice be?
Well, since 9/11, a lot of things changed. So you really, if you feel like you have a great project and you're passionate and you're doing this for the right reason, I say get your music out there the best way you can. I remember being signed to Atlantic Records, and we had some issues with the release date. And when 9/11 happened, they were considering just putting a halt on everything. But I was like at the point to where two things happened before I got a release date. They were like, we're not ready to set up. You know, we're just not ready because there's a few issues. But I talked to Craig and my manager, and I was like, just get the music out there. Let it go. Just, I wanted the message out there, the music out there, the style of music, just to, you know, so my peers would have a blend of today's music and swing, and just to remember the swing and jazz era. So that's why I wanted Stranger on Earth out there. The advice I would give is just get it out, get it heard, you know, the best way you can. Sometimes you hold it and it's never, and no one ever hears it. So we have the internet these days, so there's more opportunity to get your music heard.
And while we're talking about the internet, people, you know, people can hook up with you on Facebook at Lina Loi, on Instagram at Lina Loi, but squeezed up together.
Lina Loi.
And on Twitter, officially Lina.
Yes.
Those are
That's correct.
Your three social media apps, and a great way, as you say, to getting your music out. Now, in 2007, that seemed to be a huge year for you. You performed Santa Baby in a film this Christmas that starred Chris Brown and Idris Elba. How did you get involved in that project?
Yes.
How did you connect? How did you get involved in that?
The director contacted me.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
The director, he contacted me because he had seen a previous film that I'd done where I played a jazz singer from the 30s.
Yeah.
So he contacted Sony Pictures, and a good friend of mine who had been coming to all my shows, she worked in the music department at Sony and placing music in film. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because we became friends because she came to my shows and supported my music. And then later on, when he asked, do you know this girl Lina? She's like, yes, I do. And she called me and she said, you know, Lina, I've been waiting to make this call for years. And I'm excited there's a role for you in this movie. So I didn't audition for it. We met and we did a contract. And then the next week I was in the dressing room getting my hair done with Idris Elba. And and he already knew my music because he's from the UK. And I go, hi, my name is Lina. He goes, oh, I know who you are. And so he's a musician. So we talked about him doing a project, and, you know, it was exciting. It was a great cast, and it was a lot of fun. That was the perfect role for me. He played a sax guy, which is my favorite instrument, saxophone. And, you know, it just, and Santa Baby, we had a few options of Christmas songs. And I wanted to do something slow, but I think the director wanted something a little more sped up. So that's why we came up with the arrangement, where we had a happy medium where we would start out slow and really jazzy, and then pick it up and do it more like the original version of Santa Baby.
How many films have you appeared in, Lina?
Quite a few, but the two that came out, I do Bollywood films too. I did a Bollywood film to where, and you know, I always play myself. I'm always myself as a singer and singing mostly jazz. But this was the biggest film that being Sony Pictures that I did, but I've done several. I don't even remember coming to California. I started out acting, and music just always followed me. There was a time when I wanted to be a cheerleader, but then music would happen. So music finds me.
So, the move to California on the West Coast, how long have you been over there now on the west side?
18 years in Cali.
Yeah.
I went home for a brief period to Texas.
Yeah.
And it was different, you know. So California's home. I came back, and I now live in Santa Barbara. Okay. I lived in Sherman Oaks for 12 years. And I love Santa Barbara. It's a small town. It's, you know, it reminds me of Texas, but it's closer to work.
Yeah.
Because I work in California. It's where I do most of my work. I have all my relationships here. But I go home often. I'm going to go to Texas on the 27th. I started a little small tour. I'm going to be on the road from the 27th through April 17th. And I'll be in Tennessee and D.C. and Texas twice.
Have you any plans to come back over?
Oh, in the Cleveland.
Have you any plans to come over to the UK or Europe again?
I do. I have plans. I'm speaking to a promoter right now. As we speak, I get DMs and messages in my on my Facebook account from fans saying that, you know, they want me to come back. And so, yes, we were talking about it today with my manager. Not today, yesterday.
Yeah.
With my manager about coming back, doing Jazz Cafe, starting there, and just going from there.
Now, we're almost up to date with a lot of your back catalogue. You have got one in the tin, a compilation album, vintage. That's yet to be released?
It's a digital release. It's
okay.
a album of songs that were in my catalog that I just wanted to release. Like I said, get it out there.
Yeah.
And since we've placed in film and TV, you just have to make the music available.
Mm-hmm. Now, I want to touch upon your SoundCloud account, because I just think that some of these tracks blow me away. Cheetah, is that autobiographical? Is that from experience, or was that just something that you looked at and thought, that's a good thing to sing about as a female artist?
Yeah, it just came to me from the track. It's not a personal experience, but it's, you know, a lot of times just watching television or just the things that go on in life, I get inspired to write. So, you know how people were talking about leaving your, the guys leaving a lot of women were talking about catching men cheating from their computers.
Yeah.
Being, you know, left up, they didn't sign out.
All the time I've been giving you, doing the things that you
I love that line in the track. They caught you with your pants down. You're a cheater. I thought it was absolutely wicked, wonderful. I also loved off that group of records, One Shot. I think it's absolutely phenomenal. It's a proper punchy tune.
Thank you. That's from one of my Dallas native producers. His name is Slick. Ricky Oford. He's a great producer. He has great music out. He produced for Ariana Grande, Jamie Foxx, and Tank. The list goes on, but I'm proud of him because he's from Dallas, Texas, and he has those. His mom is an awesome woman, and she raised a great son, and I can relate to that whole thing, just being from Texas and the morals that we have, and the way we're raised. So we connected in California, and we're really good friends.
And elevator music, I thought that you can literally imagine yourself in an elevator singing your song. I just think it's such a catchy tune and different.
Yeah, same producer, Ricky Oford, Slick, same producer, and we did these songs to place on artists. So that's why you hear like the different styles and stuff. Because it's one of my biggest dreams I love all genres of music. So it's one of my biggest dreams to have a placement in all those genres, even country music. I write alternative, I write soul, jazz, standards. I even still believe in writing standards. So I have a lot of songs that are written like the old school standard jazz songs. But yeah, and I like to work with producers that are versatile.
Yeah.
And open-minded.
You see, that's the one thing that I look at the whole project, that is Lina, that started at a very early age, and then you started recording albums. So many of the tracks, so many of the albums, they're all different. There's a lot of diversity, there's a lot of dancing, there's a lot of swing, there's a lot of jazz, there's a lot of mixtures, and you're very creative in that process as well.
Thank you. It's because I love music.
Yeah.
I listen to it all. Yeah, I started out gospel. I'm from Texas. There's a lot of country music, a lot of soul music in the house, and I love the alternative music. I love it all. It's music.
Will there be any collaborations going forward? I'm guessing that you're probably, still friends with Idris and get his saxophone down to California and record something. If not Idris, perhaps somebody else. Who would you like to have a collaboration with?
That would be great because Idris is a great musician. I'm working on some stuff with this up-and-coming singer. His name is Vincent Berry. He's managed by Joaquin, the guy that got me all those deals back in the day.
Yeah.
Noel Gordine, I love his music. I would like to collaborate with him. Just people like that. I miss India Arie. I wish she would come out with something new. And I would love, we're both born on the same day. I would love to collaborate with her. And I remember meeting her for the first time in the UK. And then I went to Atlanta, and I remember being sick, and she had all these remedies to help my cold. I'll never forget it. She spent like $150 on throat coat and throat sprays. I had a show, and I was so worried that I wouldn't be able to sing. So that would be a genuine collaboration. And she's one of my favorite singers, and her personality is great as well.
And I have to say, probably from the whole of your collection, probably my favourite is Dip. I absolutely love that song. Every time I play it in the house, my little girl who is a dancer, she dances all over that. She's only got to hear the first bar of that and she knows that is Lina and that is Dip, and we all love it. My wife loves that, and she doesn't particularly like music, but even she loves Dip. So talk to me about your latest EP, which is Love Ride, and that wonderful video as well, because with all great songs, it's nice to have a video that accompanies it, and that is the best video I've ever seen in my entire life. I love that video.
That's so inspiring that your wife and your daughter. I would love to see her dancing to dip. I have a 4-year-old niece who dances to. Oh my gosh, she wants to hear that song over and over and over again. So anything that is positive. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you were just breaking up a little bit, but you're coming back again.
Okay.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, I can hear you.
Yeah, you're fine now.
I was just saying. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I was saying. It's very inspirational when kids love your music.
Yeah.
And I would love to see a video of your daughter dancing to dip. My niece dances to dip. She's 4 years old, and she wants to hear it over and over again. I was inspired by Motown, when I wrote that song. I was still on that whole Motown vibe. And the EP did, I just wanted to do like a throwback sound.
Mm-hmm.
I love Donna Ross. That's where you get Go Where the Love Is, inspired by her sound, and Supremes. But I am going to complete the album. That was an EP, but I worked with a producer by the name of Reggie Myrick. He produced those tracks, and Travis House. He vocal produced with me, and he mixed them, and he also did a track along with my band. We went in and we played everything live on the one song called Undone, and then Travis came in and touched everything up. But we are getting some offers, to finish the record. So Reggie Myrick and I are going to get together and finish the album. And I have some amazing tracks that he's already produced that I'm writing to.
No.
I want to shout out on that song Antonio and Eddie also helped produce the song Undone. Actually, it was Eddie's idea. He started
I think Undone is an absolutely fantastic track. I think for me the three stand out. I think the five of them are brilliant tracks. There's Undone, Love Ride, and Dip. I think them three are absolutely they're top 10 hits in any country on this planet. In my opinion. Where did you cut the video, and tell me about that process of getting all them beautiful people in that room to create something? Because when you're looking at something that's visual, it's different to listening to something that's audio, because there's a lot of chemistry that's going on in that video. There's a lot of looks like relationships where a couple of the girls are looking at the lads, and it is just such a beautiful video.
Thank you. Marvin Mack, he's the guy that from Soulside Records, who I did the recordings with. He introduced me to Reggie Myrick. We shot the video in California, but there's a group of people. These people that you see in the video, this is how they dress every day. This is not a game for them.
Yeah.
So he came up with a great idea. He was like, this is the music because he has this whole Soulside event. And these are diehard fans. They come to the club dressed like this, and they live this, and they dress like this every day. So he was like, why don't we just get the real fans of this music to come dance and be a part of this video? He's like, I know them. They come to my club. So that's how that all came about. And so these people are really diehard. This is how they dress every day.
They dress,
and I love it.
They dress cool. They look cool, and they are cool. I thought it was absolutely spot on.
They are cool.
So finally, what's next for Lina? What have you got on the horizon? We're now coming up to Easter. So what have you got in the next couple of months? What kind of time plan will the new album be coming out, and some more releases?
I definitely plan to release a couple of albums this year. Mm-hmm. I'm working on some great music. I cannot wait to share this music. I just recorded a song. It's called Supernatural. The melody, oh my God. This is with Reggie Myrick as well. Like, he has the most diverse sounding tracks, and so I like working with him.
Yeah.
But we recorded release as a single and called Supernatural. That'll be the start of a new album, and then I'm going to complete the EP, the Love Ride EP album.
Yep.
So we had a lot of good stuff coming.
And that Supernatural is wonderful because you kindly messaged it me probably about six to 8 weeks ago. And I said to you straight away, I love it. I mean, there's not much that I don't like of yours. I wouldn't say there's anything that I dislike of yours. But again, that Supernatural, it's pretty much in that rich vein of wonderful writing and catchy hooks and great choruses.
Thank you. Yeah, I like the ska in the '60s, and I like this blending music. Different. There's no telling. Like, if I listen to my music, like if you go through my music, it's very diverse.
Yeah, it is.
It's from A to Z. Yeah.
With a big...
And I like it like that. It's just a nice ride.
With a big L in the middle. And that big L for Lina. Lina Loi, the most... Well, my favourite artist, female artist on the planet. And can I
thank you so much.
Can I thank you so much for giving us your time and having a brief little chat about what you've done and where you're going. And we're going to be hooking up loads in 2017, and anything that you need from me or our radio station or our show, The Biscuit Boys, you know that we're only a phone call away or a message away, and we will support you all the way because you are going straight to the top. You're the best.
Thank you so much. It is my pleasure. I'm so glad that we made it happen. I really appreciate what you do for me and the Biscuit Boys. It's one of those things to where when you feel tired, you can always depend on people like you and your energy and your spirit to be inspiring to me. You're very encouraging, and when I'm frustrated with this music, sometimes I get a message from you, and it gives me some gas. And so, the business part is not the fun part. So, it keeps me focused, people like you. So I really, really appreciate everything you do and the love and support and spreading the word and getting it out there. So thank you.
And can I just say, it is reciprocated, because when I'm feeling down and feeling blue, I'll stick on a Lina track, and that makes me feel happy as well. And that's what music does. When you're down, you put it on and you feel happy again, and that is true art.
Yes. Well, I'm so happy to hear that. Thank you.
Right then, can I thank you then, Lina? All the very, very best, and thank you so much.
You're welcome.
What you got?